I brought brushes for almost everybody, but it was first come, first served, and it looks like they got used up. But these are for striating the muscles, so they look like they're combed. Don't forget to paint the arm with acrylic paint. Already told you guys that. So do it this week if you didn't do it for today. Do it this week. It's just acrylic paint, just to have it match the clay as best you can. It doesn't matter if it's exactly right. But it's important that you do that by next week. So please remember I said that. Okay, so now, here's the order. Ooh, a lot of good stuff in here. Damn it. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. Remember the lower leg. Okay, so you take your little muscle clay, and if you really need to, of course, you might, but remember that you have actual sized little diagrams here, the dress pattern. And you can see these will help. These are actual size. So there's A1. See, everything's labeled A2. If you really need to, you could actually look at that. And it gives you at least a beginning. I didn't do that with all the muscles, but I did them with enough. So these muscles are really, really flat. If you start looking like, basically your écorché starts looking like it's got really fat ankles, like it's retaining water or something, you got to make sure that you change that, because it means that basically the muscles are too fat, too thick. Now, the one thing that will help, I resist putting this on because it really sticks. In other words, use Vaseline still. You guys remember that? Vaseline is what helps have the clay stick to the metal. It's also going to help the clay stick to the clay. Got it? So, please do that. I'm not going to do it because it really does, like, it makes it hard for me to take it off. So I'm going to just leave it without the Vaseline and see if it actually will stay on there. It might not. I might need to actually put the Vaseline on there. But now what we have is we have this. We have that's it. That's the Prof brevis. It's going to be a lot easier if you paid really good attention, take good notes. Remember step by step. You're going to do it really, really nicely. Then the Prof longus is the same thing. It's just on top and higher. So now you have Prof brevis. That's number 1. Then number 2. And if you want to see the size, you look literally, you could put your clay right on here. I've seen people actually put it on there, cut it or whatever, and that's it. So this is really, really easy. When I was growing up, way back in the 60s, it seemed like all of us built model cars. And that's what got me to doing it in this order. Like everything is step by step and almost like building a model airplane, model car. This is Prof longus. That's it. So you put one on top of the other. And you can see that, like I'm looking at it maybe from the side. Is there like a side view? No, I don't have handouts. There's a back view. Side view is somewhere. Well, just leave it like that. Let me see. Well, there's that side view. Yeah, and these are even like the same thing. So you can see Prof longus, Prof brevis. Okay, great. That, like that, like that, like that. Yeah, don't lose those. Like that, because this is your list from now on. This is the last day I'll give you handouts, probably. That was it. Okay, now, there's 2 muscles in front, 2 muscles in back. Okay, so the one in front is really easy because this is the extensor digitorum, and extensor digitorum means what it says. It's the one that pulls up on your toes. So you'll see that that is on the side of these 2. I'm going to rotate this around. It's like that. Okay, it's as simple as that. Then there's one in front of that. In real life, the extensor digitorum and the one right in front of it, the one that you can't feel your bone anymore, if you pull your foot up towards your face, all of a sudden you don't feel bone anymore, you feel that muscle contracting, because it's called the tibialis anterior, which is front. So that one is put in like this. It's nice and big. It's a contour muscle, meaning when you're drawing, it's in the front. It's your front contour of your leg. So it has to look like a contour. And the tendon, and I'm not putting the tendons on here, you will, because it takes a little bit of time for me to get the other clay, but you would put the tendon, you could see the tendon. I mean, it's very, very clear. You can see that. That tendon goes under the arch of the foot. So now you have 1, 2, 3, 4, now 6 and 7. The soleus is the only one that might give you guys problems, okay, because you have to really look at it. It looks like a wedge. Looks like this. Looks like the sole of a foot, soleus. Okay, see a little footprint? Soleus, soleus, soleus. And if you want to see the size of it, it's on there. It's in your little dress pattern. Soleus. From the side, it looks kind of like a wedge. Soleus, sole of your foot, sole of your foot, soleus. It's attached to the head of the fibula, and it looks like that. Think by filming this time, because this is a good thing to film. Good girl. Gosh, she's so smart. She sends me a little film, and I think other people have used them as well. They come in really, really handy. Yeah. It's great for little comments like the molasses jar, things like that. You know, become immortalized. Oh, it's, you know, 100 years from now, it's, what is with this? You know, it's like some kind of secret code and from the 21st century. You know.
I mean, I don't know people even know what
the molasses jar.
Yeah, they don't even know what those are.
What's that code for? So it looks kind of like that. Now I can put the two heads of the gastrocnemius or the calf muscles. Okay, these are very recognizable, so you have to do them really well, because even a kid will look at your gastrocnemius or your calf muscles like that doesn't look right. Okay, so remember that I'm going to be even pickier than the little kid. These have to look nice, because I get really upset when muscles are depicted really badly. Okay, so just to not upset me, make sure that you guys do a good job of this. I'm doing a quick job here. I don't really need to get tools out or anything, but there's basically, that's one head. This is the lateral head. The medial head is lower, and boy, you guys can see this because these handouts are very clear. The medial head drops lower than the lateral head. It's really important because you look on the back of somebody's calves, you'll see one is lower. The ones on the inside are lower than the ones on the outside are higher. It's the opposite of, if you remember, your ankle. Remember how your ankle has a slant to it? It's a counter angle. It's actually very elegant. And again, that's what makes figure drawing so beautiful. It's like knowing all these like ins and outs. So is this starting to look like a leg? Good, it should, because this is the shape that you guys have, and there's a reason why your leg is shaped a certain way. I will put the Achilles tendon in, because the Achilles tendon is so important. I want to make sure that you guys see me putting that Achilles tendon in. But do not forget that when you look at your ABC list, there's little T's next to muscles that you have to put that other colored play for tendons, because they're so important. Those tendons cannot be left out. I'm going to make this a little smaller, because otherwise he'll be like hitting one calf against the other. Some people have like really huge calves. Remember that men's calves are generally higher than women's calves. Boy, he's got really healthy calves. But they look good. And this one's going to be lower than the other one. So I'm trying to push one higher, one lower. The inside or medial head is lower. If I'm going to look at everybody's calves and see if you guys took good note of that. Because it has to be done right. That's it. It's actually really fun. This part is really fun. You guys did the hard part already. The skeleton was pretty hard. Some people have a hard time with both the muscles and the bones bit. What can I do? Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece of the regular Sculpey and make the Achilles tendon. The Achilles tendon is very, very well known. It's got its own name, for God's sakes. All the other tendons have usually just have the name of the muscle itself. Peroneus brevis tendon, peroneus longus tendon, and such, and so on and so forth. But there's certain tendons that are just massive, and this is a good one. This one on a cadaver is really, really strong. It kind of resembles, you know, the hot glue gun, the little sticks that you put in, kind of resembles that. It's kind of like this milky white translucent thing, and it's really, really strong. So the tendon goes from there, and it will attach itself to the heel. Something like that. It's almost like an upside down necktie, if you will. See, kind of like that. And you look around and you just make sure that it's looking okay. Now I'm doing this quickly, so that's the quick version. That's the blocked in version. If you guys take just a little bit more time, make it look really nice. But you can see it doesn't necessarily have to take much more time than what I just did. You get, I don't know if you guys have the clay softener, but I have clay softener. Or you could just take lighter fluid, whatever you need to. Right now I'm doing this dry, and you can see that I'm basically like combing into it. There's a little, see my, that top jar right over here? Over here there's like something that says clay softener. Yeah, that one right there. Hand me that, because I might as well just show you this. This is kind of neat. This is a clay softener. This is that product that a lot of people aren't selling any longer because on even closed up, the oil gets out. I mean, that's how like thin it is. See, like when you pick up that jar, it's like oily. It's like no matter how much you tighten it up. Watch this because it's beautiful. I'm combing in the direction that, well, I know the direction, but you'll look at that and you're basically combing this and it gives a striation of the muscles because they are striated. Do you see that? It should look like combed hair. Isn't that amazing? And it gives it a little bit of sheen and it softens it up and it gets it really, really, that's it. Now, when it comes to the thigh muscles, boy, this is really fun. I might even wait for next week to start the skull. You guys could just start it on your own. You know the size to do it. I drew a little circle. If you need to, you could actually, this is the same size as the circle. You make the ball that size. Put your ball through there like a little basketball hoop. You could add a little bit more to it, or that's about right. You know, I gave you a sheet that actually has the circle on there and the size. Those are actual size skulls. Try it without me doing too much of a demo. Next week I'll do the demo. I'm kind of tired today, so I won't do it. Okay, the adductors first. You ready for this? Brenda, you ready? Okay, did you bring your adductors? You did. Okay, adductor check, adductor, yes, everybody has their adductors, good. Because they're going to look like a bubble. Honestly, when you look at a model, a lot of times it's like, even in the most athletic of people, it's really hard to see any division between the separate muscles. There's a lot of fat down there. There's a lot of actually very critical stuff in that area because you have like a lot of arteries and stuff that are really, really thick and big. The femoral artery goes through there. Now, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get the general shape. Boy, I can't visualize it right now. Okay, I got it. Okay, got it. Okay, because it's going to be back here. See, you guys are going to see where it's attached to. You guys will see the front part, and then I'll rotate it, and you guys can see both. Everybody can see all of this. There's a muscle called the iliopsoas, the filet mignon, is already in there. See that muscle? That's why I told you guys, make sure you have a little opening here. So that muscle is already pouring through. But this is basically what the adductors look like. See that? Isn't that neat? So they're attached to the back of the femur, and you could already see these are massive, these are strong. There's 4 main ones, but there's many more. But basically they end up going towards the back of the femur, and nice and full. Don't make them flat in the front. Make them like this. See that? They're nice and full. That's it. Okay, so what was the next group? The next group was the quadriceps. Quads, you ready for this? Because those are very recognizable. You see this on people that work out a lot, so they're recognized. Some of the others might not be as much, but these are really important. It's almost like the pecs and the abs and all that. If you do them wrong, people like not know exactly why, but it'll look like you're bringing in a toy. And I don't want that, because I don't want you guys going out there embarrassing the class. Okay, so and you guys, the good thing is you guys are really, really good. That's why I could teach and tease you guys a little bit, I should say. Okay, so this is that teardrop. And remember, the teardrop is pulling towards the medial. Okay, so it's a teardrop. But remember, the leg doesn't necessarily have a front, side, back, inside. We call it that, but basically they roll. So these front muscles that I'm doing, they also roll towards the side. That's why I had to draw it first from the front and then the side as well, because they roll. And basically, let me just kind of get the size of this and see if it's going to work, because I need to see, I'm just doing it loosely first. I'm sizing it, making sure it's not too big. It's pulling towards the medial, like this, medial. So it's like a teardrop, but not a straight down teardrop. It's like it's being pulled to the inside. But there has to be a significant amount on the side, because it's vastus lateralis. What does lateralis mean? Lateral, side. So this is side. This is my lateral part of the arm. This is the lateral part of the leg. Do you see how like it's being born in there? How do you like them apples? Do you see that, G girl?